What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Real Hunting. We're out for the good real, so you don't have to. It's your boy Brad. The Brett Man's right over here. The new Texas Chainsaw Massacre of 2022 just came out last Friday. We done a review for that, so be sure to check that out, Brett Man. Where can they find that link?
Right above my head, right there. Just actually, it's more right there, but you get the point. It's right there. And so those are our thoughts. So we're not going to talk too much about the new one. But Brad, what in the hell are we talking about today?
Well, so the new movie's been very divisive, even within Good Real Hunting. I mean, I hated it. Brett liked it a little bit. A lot of people really like it. A lot of people hate it. It's right in the middle. But in general, the franchise of Texas Chainsaw Massacre has gone downhill over the years. Since 2003, they did the badass remake and then a prequel that followed up to it, and then 3 movies back to back. That's just progressively, I wouldn't say it's progressively gotten worse. A lot of people did like this last movie, Brett included. But the franchise has kind of been the shitter, man, because the last 2 movies have gone straight to VOD. And the one before that, everybody hated Texas 3D. So we wanted to talk briefly.
I actually have fun with that one too.
Well, yes, I'm just talking in general. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I can watch it. But in general, the franchise has gone down the tanker from a standpoint from where it used to be, where it was in 2003. So we just wanted to talk briefly kind of where they've gone wrong and what we want to see from the franchise going forward. What would make us excited about this franchise again? Because for me personally, I'm just not excited about this franchise anymore, but I could be if a couple things were done. I think the latest movie in general, okay, fine. As a Netflix slasher movie, it's fine. But as a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, it just didn't hit any of the marks that I look for, Brett Man.
Yeah, I agree with that. Should I go ahead and talk about the big thing I want?
Yes.
Like the thing I'm noticing, like just this is for me personally, it only does the half of the things that I want it to do. Which, if you give me half of it, like kind of like how 3D and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 did, I'm gonna have a good time with it. But if we want to get to the level of the original and the remake, you have to deliver on the second half of that. And what is that second half? Just what I've been noticing, just the uncomfortableness of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Because in the original, that movie is so damn uncomfortable from like beginning to end. Like these last couple ones, I haven't really gotten that uncomfortable factor because I mainly get the slasher part of it. And yet, Leatherface is a big, bulky dude, chainsaw, he's slashing people up. But I'll be honest with you, I just don't think that's exactly who he is, though, because he just really just wants to be left alone, and they should really more explore that kind of psychology a little bit. First, it's just like a bunch of kids like taking over a town, and just a random family member dying. He goes berserk, like So it's like, fuck, man. Like,
well, that's just it. I think they've missed the point ever since they did the prequel. I was very happy with the remake and the prequel, Texas Chainsaw. The
same
beginning.
here in
Both
my
of those
top
were great.
3.
They were in good territory right there with those 2 movies, both of those. And then they just they started missing the point after that, man. They got rid of the family. They started focusing on Leatherface, too much, and making Leatherface the main baddie or goodie, depending on which movie, Texas 3D. I think that's the problem. I think that's a big part of the problem because he's never been the most interesting part about the movies. R. Lee Ermey is my favorite character in the whole franchise. That's the one. Look at it this way: Texas Chainsaw. Texas. I'll put it in a way you might understand, Brett. Man, Leatherface is Brock Lesnar, but without Paul Heyman, he's nothing. You got to have somebody to carry the charisma. You got to have that R. Lee Ermey, that Chop Top, that Mr.
The
Mr. Sawyer.
Piece.
Yeah, the mouthpiece, right? And without that, you just have Jason pretty much, and there's no interest, there's no intrigue because that's essentially all he is. So I think what makes this franchise great is the mouthpiece and the way they work together. It's like if Rob's put in modern terms, if Rob Zombie did House of 1,000 Corpses and then followed up to that with a sequel just about Tiny, and we didn't have freaking Otis and Baby Firefly in there and Sid Haig. Who's going to watch freaking Tiny going around fucking stumps? I mean, what the hell does that have to do with anything? You know what I mean? Like, I just like I think that's the biggest issue for me is that it's just focusing on the wrong things. It's missing the point. Leatherface was just a disaster.
Yeah. Oh gosh, let's not get into Leatherface. I'm not looking forward to that in the future of the channel. But yeah, you're exactly right. Like the family has to be a part of this, just because that's kind of like even part 2, as goofy as it is, and it's not my kind of taste to it, but the family part of it is still in there, and
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, just like studying individual characters versus just focusing on one of Leatherface, which, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he's that interesting all by himself. I think he's just a random person. They just say, hey, just go out and kill people. Let's just give you no story. And that family helps bring his story onto the screen of exactly who he is. Kind of like you saying the mouthpiece. But another thing, too, that this franchise is really missing, and I haven't really seen a strong final girl since. See, I wanted to say the beginning, but nope, there wasn't one. But the remake of Jessica Biel with Aaron, because yeah, she made a lot of dumb decisions, but at the end of the day, she still fought back, and like she had the
Yeah.
presence of the final girl. And I feel like this franchise has been missing that for the longest time.
Yes.
And I was telling Brad right before we got on here, and I was wanting to tell you all, I think the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre would have been a perfect film if Jessica Biel's character, not Jessica Biel, but her character was in the original, like her style, her presence, and just her decision making, and actually fighting back at the end. I feel like the original would have been the best, probably the best horror movie of all time.
I think so too. I think that's another thing they've gotten wrong. Sally, okay, she's fine. She's great. She's serviceable, but she's not really like nobody really thinks of Sally as being a final girl, like one of the better final girls in life. And if you're going to focus on Leatherface being the main bad guy and the only bad guy for that matter, you really got to have somebody on the other side of him to carry that story forward that you care about, a character that's actually interesting, which is another part where they failed at ever since the beginning. And I think, like Sally was the wrong one to bring back. Like nobody really cares that much about Sally because she was fine. Again, great performance in the role. And, obviously we're very thankful for that. She's one of the first final girls of all time. We love that. But in
Mhm.
general, like it's not somebody, like I said, that is on people's top 10 list of final girls. So I think like if they were to brought Jessica Biel back as Aaron, okay, then you have me interested. Then
Mhm.
like if they were to follow up 2003, and it's years later, and there's a one-armed freaking Leatherface chasing down freaking Jessica Biel's Aaron character. Okay, I'm interested. That's piqued my curiosity for me. But for Sally to come back 60 years later down, or 50 years, whatever it's been, and being irrelevant essentially, like that doesn't excite me.
No, definitely doesn't excite me either, especially the way they brought her back just to, yeah, just what happens to her. So yeah, and plus, like, they didn't handle the legacy character like format of what they were supposed to do at all in the new one. But I feel like, yeah, it would be interesting to bring back Erin, just because probably, like, all of her friends got, and she's probably pissed off. And to me, she has like the presence and the more definitely reason of like going back to take on the Leatherface to go, hey, finish the job. And plus, remember, Aaron kind of had that baby. She took that baby away from him. Where's the baby at this time? See, to me, that would be a better sequel idea versus just doing a
100%.
direct sequel from the original with Sally and all that.
Yes, 100%. I would be so much more, and not to mention unofficially in that movie, I guess officially if you look at the deleted scenes, Erin was pregnant in 2003. She was actually pregnant from her boyfriend, I guess, whatever his name was, Kemper.
Mhm.
And you could go back to that. She could pop that thing out. Kemper could be the dad, and obviously you got that connection. Leatherface killed the baby daddy, so you have this whole thing like going on. Like that to me is interesting. You have the other child. You have the Zachariah kid or whatever his name was, for Ezekiel. I don't remember, but either way,
Fuck
um,
you, Ezekiel.
Ezekiel! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you! Fuck you!
but either way, like there was intrigue there. There was actually I felt a more personal real rivalry between Aaron and Leatherface than there ever was with Sally and Leatherface. I think Sally
Mhm.
would be much more interested in kicking Mr. Sawyer's ass than
Oh,
Leatherface.
the
Leatherface was just,
vampire.
yeah. Sawyer, freaking Leatherface is just freaking there. Like he's just there. Like he's very much like he's just he's tiny of the Otis and the Rob Zombie category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And just like overall, pretty much what I really want a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I want the gore and the brutal kills. I want to feel uncomfortable, nasty atmosphere, nasty setting, nasty house. Like Brad said, I want the family. I want the family tie in there just because that makes it extra creepy and helps some Leatherface. and just a strong final girl. If you deliver and interesting characters, we'll make that 5 too. If you bring me those 5 things, I think that's the perfect format for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie to succeed. I don't want the comedy like in part 2. I don't want half and half. I just want those 5 elements. If you could even at least do it a little bit, I'm easily going to say it's better than 2022 in 3D.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I and a strong Texas atmosphere is what we're looking for too. We haven't had that since 2003 in the beginning, I don't think. And as far as the gore goes, like you don't like it doesn't have to be over the top, like just decent. Like the first movie has no blood in it, like very little. Like, but yet that's the dirtiest film in the whole bunch because they do so much other stuff with the atmosphere. You don't have to focus, you don't have to over rely on the gore if you're doing other things right. You don't have to do that. It doesn't have to be, pretentious. You don't have to throw in all the CGI guts and bodies. Like you don't have to do that. It's cool, but like there's other ways of getting about that, man.
Yeah,
But,
like even you can do a CGI kill too, but like just like if you create a dark atmosphere with dark lighting and all that, and to kind of hide that CGI, that's one way to do it. But I'm just again, y'all been hearing me saying this repeatedly on the channel. Practical effects need to make a comeback in the horror genre, and I feel like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise would be a good place to start with it because I feel like they could do really some amazing things with that.
Yeah, I don't want to see no bright ass freaking brand new off the shelves Paulding chainsaw like that Leatherface is held on to. Like, no, dude, give me a blood soaked, rusted up, like just something gross and nasty that makes you feel like, oh, don't get me near that. And then Leatherface, man, just have him freaking like his character was fine in the new movie, like as far as the look and everything goes, like they that's fine. But he needs more around him. He needs super interesting characters to go against. Like if it's going to be like a one-on-one situation, you got to have somebody like Aaron in there, somebody strong and
make us care.
Yeah, or just go back to the roots, man. Let's go back to the freaking dirty old family, man, and the grandpa and the hammer. Grandpa hasn't been readdressed since the first one, dude. So I mean, I guess maybe the second one.
And plus, he's a vampire too, so he's alive.
Yeah, dude, he's definitely good to go, man. Like, let's get back to that, man. I think for sure. So there's 2 things that would make me excited going forward. Right now, if the next movie comes out, I'll watch it. What the hell? But I'm not going to be excited about it.
Because the director did state it on his Twitter that he is confident that there will be a sequel.
There will be blood. And the sequel of that might be interesting because of the post-credit scene we got. But either way, what would really make me excited. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. It's been talked about for years, but it would be, I mean, Rob Zombie would make me excited for this. And everybody's like, oh no, he killed Halloween. But dude, Devil's Rejects is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And I think if you were to actually make it a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, bring back freaking Bill Moseley as Chop Top or something, like,
yes,
you're talking something special. I think something that he's very capable of. It very much fits his characters, his writing, everything about it. It fits, and I think it could work out perfectly. Also, another thing would be Aaron coming back. Would be, even if they recasted her as the role, but a connection to that 2003 movie would really get me excited too. But what they're doing now, connecting back to the OG and Leatherface being 60 years old, doesn't really get me excited in the crotchal zone.
Well, if we're doing the whole Rob Zombie idea, let's just let him do kind of like what the Halloween franchise did, just like kind of like make it like an alternate universe, like a reboot.
Yes.
And then let's just go ahead. If we're doing the Rob Zombie route, let's just let him start it completely over again and just tell like I wouldn't say a brand new story, but just kind of like a different story of Leatherface and the Sawyer family, or hell, that's everything too. Like if we just keep one name of the family, it's the Hoy family, it's the Sawyer family. Like I don't freaking know, but and also quick shout out real too, Steve Merlo for the Sawyer Massacre. Like I can already tell you already for that fan film with everything we've seen, like from trailers and all that, that is more of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie than anything we got out of the last 3.
Oh, Steve gets it, dude. Steve gets it. He gets the atmosphere. He's a big fan of the OG classic. So, he gets that atmosphere, that grime, that grit that it had before, seeing the freaking, sweat coming from our actors and everything in between. Like, I think it's going to be really
addressing the grandpa, because I'm pretty sure he'll be in that.
Oh yeah. He's got it. Yeah. That's, I'm super excited to see what he comes up with here.
Yeah, so be sure to go over to the Sawyer Massacre on his Facebook, Instagram for all the latest updates on that, because I believe right now they're in production.
And that's just it,
pre-production.
The name Sawyer Massacre is sexy as hell, man. It's sexy because it's not just a chainsaw massacre; it's a whole Sawyer Massacre, and he gets it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Oh man, it's going to be a fantastic time for sure. So, Brad, anything else you want to throw out there?
I think that's it, man.
All right, let's hook this conversation on a good old meat hook, and let's
Yes.
get it on out of here. And we want to ask you guys, what do you all want in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise in the future? Or let us know what you think they did wrong in that comment section down below, and let's get that discussion rolling.
And if you want to find a good reels, you can do so by finding us on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Those links are down below for you to find.
Absolutely they are. And be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe. And of course, ring that bell, ding, 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 so you all know when the next set of videos are up and ready.
Right, you are.
All right, so let's Lumberjacks, are you ready? Oh, wrong movie. Shit. Let's get out of here. Let's go.